Assalamu alaikum, you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about our labor and delivery story, and I'm also going to be inserting some clips in here as I talk about certain scenarios. A few days before I went in labor, I was having bleeding, but a lot of people were just telling me that it was spotting, so I didn't think too much about it. I think it was Sunday night when I started feeling like these weird back pains, and they weren't like excruciating back pains, they were just literally like a little bit of back pain. And
on this Sunday, I noticed my wife, I've been trying everything to get this baby out. She's been watching multiple YouTube videos. She's been doing the exercise I've never seen her doing.
I was literally just squatting and doing lunges.
And then you were telling me that I just want this baby out now.
Because I felt heavy. I felt so heavy. He was a big boy, man. I literally did squats and lunges, and I was bouncing on a ball because a lot of people recommend that so that when it's time for you to give birth, you can easily push the baby out and your cervix would be nice and dilated and effaced. So I was just doing that. I was not trying to force the baby out. It was my second week of maternity leave. My first week, I wanted to just chill and do nothing. My second week, I was like, okay, this baby could come out anytime from now, so I'm just want to prepare my body for a delivery. Not prepare it, like I wanted him to come out, that's for sure, because he was heavy, okay? I felt like heavy. So I wanted him to come out, but I didn't think that everything that I was doing was gonna put me in labor. And I started also eating dates, but like that's literally all those things that I mentioned, that's literally all I did. And on Monday, before my husband went to work, I literally told him, I was like, don't be surprised if I call you and I tell you that we need to go to the hospital. But like, do you think you were actually gonna get a call?
No, really, but I just, like maybe, I was just thinking maybe you could call me for something. But I just didn't know I was gonna go to the hospital on that day. So
I wanted to make sure that I was like safe and everything was safe, especially with the bleeding and with the back pain. I just wanted to make sure that like baby boy was okay. He came home, we got our bags, and then we left to go to the hospital. And as we're going to the hospital, I feel like my cramps were getting worse and I was losing my mind when they were coming because I was like, I couldn't talk through them. We got to the hospital, went into triage, and they basically told me that I was 3 centimeters dilated, and that wasn't really enough for them to like give me an epidural or like admit me right away. So she said, okay, we're just gonna go for a little walk, and then for 1 hour go for a walk, and then come back and we'll check you again and see where you're at. I'm currently outside going for a walk. I was 3.5 centimeters dilated. Ooh, I was 3.5 centimeters dilated, but she said that my cervix is very thin. And then she said that she wants me to go for a walk for about an hour and then come back and check. When I get the cramps, it's so bad. So like, I really don't think I'm gonna get to 10 centimeters without an epidural. Like, I thought I was gonna do it without an epidural, girl. Epidural, we need her. So she said that if I come back, they check me on 5 centimeters, then I'll probably get an epidural. If not, then they probably will give me like morphine or something to start off and see if that works. During that walk, like, did you think, what was going through your mind?
in my mind, I was thinking maybe they could send us home, right? But at the same time, the way she's kind of reacting at that moment, I was like, maybe something is like this is actually getting serious, right?
How was I acting? Because
like you're getting, like you never really act like that even when you're feeling pain. I think the pain is more intense, and then you're acting more like I'm actually feeling pain. During the walk, I think she was doing everything possible to get the baby out.
Yeah, and I was like walking.
She was like walking up and down. She was doing the most.
She said, "Go for a walk." So instead of just walking around the hospital randomly, we went outside, and I was going up and down those stairs because I was trying to get this baby out, and I was feeling so much cramps, and I was like, if they send me home, I'm gonna die at home, so I need to be admitted. So I was walking up and down the stairs trying to do the most so that this baby can come out.
And the funny thing is, when we were going at the elevator, we saw
a wheelchair.
We saw a wheelchair. at the elevator.
And this is when we were walking back to the unit after that 1 hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, after that 1 hour of walk.
Yeah, so I just noticed Asia started to sit on the wheelchair and I was confused. I was like, what's going on? And then she was like, no, just leave me, allow me. I just want to do my stuff. Just leave me alone. I'm tired.
I was getting cramps and they were really, really bad, and I just wanted to sit down. And he was like, why are you sitting down? You don't know whose wheelchair that is. I was like, I don't care. I want to sit down. If that person comes, they can take me off, but like, I'm just gonna sit down. So I saw a wheelchair and I took the opportunity and I sat my ass down. You could see that my cramps were progressively getting worse, right?
For sure.
Like I was more in I couldn't talk when the cramps were coming. Not the cramps, but the contractions. I couldn't talk when they were coming. We went back upstairs and then she checked me. I was 5 centimeters dilated. So we got admitted, went into the room, and I just wanted the epidural right away because I'm telling you, the pain was so bad. But when we got admitted, the nurse was like, is there anything you want to try before we actually get you an epidural? I've seen on YouTube of women who went in the tub and they said that the contractions were getting better in the tub. So I told her, I was like, we can just try that and see if that's gonna work. We did that and it didn't work. Like I was still screaming and I was still in pain, and I was just like, this water is being annoying. Like I just didn't want to be in the water. I just want to be in the bed with my epidural, and I was so tired because I didn't sleep the night before, and I just wanted the epidural so I can finally sleep before it's time to push. Getting an epidural is not painful. It was just a very uncomfortable sensation. The first part where they're actually giving you, I guess it's like the freezing or the numbing thing, that part is a little bit like of a prick, but getting the actual epidural, the only thing that I didn't like it because the sensation was just very weird, and I moved a little bit, so I was like, damn, if this epidural goes wrong, that's on me, like 100%. But the nurse was in front of me and she was trying to hold me still, but I still knew that something was coming in, and I was just like, the sensation was not pleasant at all. We were able to sleep a little bit after I got the epidural. Pain wise, my pain was probably like, I don't know, like a 2 out of 10, but before it was literally like a 10 out of 10. The doctor came in the middle of the night and she saw that I was 7 centimeters dilated and my water hasn't broken yet. So she broke my water, but when she broke my water, she realized that it wasn't just clear fluid coming out, it was bloody fluid coming out. She thought that I was probably having placental abruption, and if that was the case, then I had to get an emergency C-section right away. But they did a bunch of tests, for example, checking that his blood is not mixed with my blood, and they realized that there wasn't really anything that was showing that I have placental abruption. The only thing that kind of showed that there was a chance of placental abruption was the bleeding that they saw. It wasn't a lot for them to be too concerned. I think it was literally like 30 minutes after I told the nurse, I was like, I feel like I need to poop. Like I have a big poop that wants to come out. That's literally how it felt. And she was like, okay, that's weird. She checked me and she saw that this is like 30 minutes after my water broke. And that time I was 7 centimeters and I was like 50% effaced. So she checked me this time and I was 10 centimeters and 100% effaced. That means that you're ready to birth the baby. Like I could have birthed the baby like right there. And I feel like that was like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Around 3 a.m. that's pretty much when that happened. But then the baby came out at not the baby came out, but we started pushing around 6 or so. And that was because the doctors were busy with an emergency C-section, so they couldn't come to me and birth the baby. They were like, okay, you just have to tell her not to push and to wait until we're done. So I was pretty much just trying to keep the baby in for 3 hours roughly until the doctors were ready for me. But throughout the process, the baby was not happy. His heart rate was dropping and then coming back up and dropping again. So it wasn't like, he definitely wasn't liking his water being broken. But they said that as long as he keeps increasing his heart rate on his own, then it's fine. We don't have to rush to bring him out. Eventually the doctors were ready. They came over to basically take the baby out, and when they came, they just told the nurse, they were like, okay, start pushing with her, and then when you think the baby's ready to come out, just call us and we'll come and catch the baby. But we basically started pushing with the nurse. It was me, my husband, and then my mom and my sister, and obviously the nurse, and we just started pushing. and everybody was literally hands-on in the whole process.
We're trying to support her. She was holding my hand. We're trying to like, it's gonna be fine. I was like really motivated. So I was like trying to support her at that moment and be like, hey, let's do this, let's do this.
I was getting tired, y'all. Like, it was like almost an hour of pushing, and every time we stopped pushing, I just wanted to sleep. But I was also getting really nauseous, so my sister had like ice cold water for me to drink at that time, so that was good. But it was tiring. Like, pushing a baby out is not easy. Eventually the doctors came, and she was like, okay, let's push. We started pushing as usual with the doctor there for a very few minutes, and then she was like, okay, so here's the deal. If you keep pushing, you can get this baby out, but you're gonna rip down there. You're gonna rip. Or I can just make a nice clean cut and get this baby out. And she said that if you decide to just push and you rip, then it's gonna take longer, because you have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, so it's gonna take longer, and it might be a very messy ripping. So I said, just cut me, please now, just cut me and get this baby out. Okay.
So when did
the doctor said that
the doctor said
they're gonna cut me,
they're gonna cut her, and to be honest, I was like really scared. I was like, damn it, like I was not like, I was kind of nervous and scared that why are they gonna call my wife? Like, is it that she can't deliver herself? Is this gonna be an issue? That's when I realized that we are in it. This is reality. That's when I started to think that, oh, this is not gonna be easy. Like, this is actually getting serious.
And you saw when they were cutting me.
That's when I started to feel dizzy. And then I just went to the washroom.
But they couldn't continue because this man was in the washroom, and they were like, you have to come out of the washroom, we have to make sure you're okay. Well, else you might be fainting and nobody knows what's going on in the washroom. So they literally were like focusing on him, and I was like, yo, I'm sitting here with my legs open. Like, me, focus on me. He literally came out, and you were sitting down because you weren't feeling very well, so I don't know if you actually saw him, them pushing him, like taking him out. But he finally came out, and they put him on my chest, and he was bloody, y'all. Like, he was bloody. Like, it was just a lot of blood everywhere. But he started screaming like so loud, like so loud. He was so loud, and he's still a very loud crier. But he started screaming. And then what was going through your head when you first saw him?
I was grateful to Almighty Allah that alhamdulillah everything was successful.
Yeah.
I know, like, my wife, I've tried a lot, so like I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. But at the same time I was like scared that, wow, I'm actually a father now, like just like that.
Alhamdulillah, like he came out healthy, like no issues. Like when they checked him, like immediately everything was totally fine. He was okay. He just had high bilirubin levels, but that was resolved within a day. Like when we went back to get checked again, it was totally fine. So yeah, aside from that, like he was totally fine. Alhamdulillah, we're very lucky. That's it.
Finally.
That's the end.
It's crazy.
I know.
Maybe I should actually tell them that I'm not really like a camera person like that, but whatever.
He's not a camera person like that.
Well, you can guys see us later.